he stabs her in the neck. And I guess this is kind of his signature thing, to stab them in the neck.
You already shot them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Healthcare horrors. Murder.
All right, we have 47 hours and 18 minutes.
Oh, we better get started. Got a lot of stuff to cover in 47 hours.
47 hours and 17 minutes.
Oh my gosh, we better get to it.
We're off to a great start.
Ooh, it's a real Monday, Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Healthcare Horrors.
Welcome back. It is time. Here we go. Rolling through 2022.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh, yeah. I think we already said that in the last episode.
Okay, well, now that it's actually...
Because I think this is going to come out at the end of January or February.
I can't hear.
Oh, no. Yeah, something's weird with the...
Is it both of you?
Whoa. I think it was you. Whatever you touched.
This happened last episode.
It happens every time, Dolan.
It's because of this jack here.
Yep. It's going in and out, in and out.
It's weird.
So I can only
How
hear.
about now?
Oh. What was that?
It was me. I hit the...
I was going to say, where's their guitar?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, no. And we are crumbling.
It's okay.
Speaking about
now
crumbling.
I can hear. What are we crumbling?
You guys remember how I mentioned ammonia when I was supposed to be talking about pneumonia?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So that kind of happened again over the weekend. We were talking about rebar, like a rebar steak, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I said rhubarb.
Those are very different things.
I mean, they're both things that you can stick in the ground or come out of the ground, I guess.
Yeah. Except I wouldn't put rhubarb down to pour concrete.
No.
Definitely wouldn't hold as well.
You don't want to eat rebar.
So not really the same.
No.
Subjective.
So that's my crumbling story. Anyone else before we get into this?
No, I'm good.
Should we mention who we talked about last time?
Yeah.
Who did we talk about last time, Ashley?
The angel of death, Beverly Allett. Lovely, not lovely lady. And this time, we are covering our own hometown murder, Anthony Garcia.
Do you remember watching this on the news at all, Dolan, or were you too young?
News? Question mark?
Yeah.
Man, I don't watch the news anymore, but
yeah, I don't.
Depressing.
I don't remember this at all. When did it happen?
2000.
How old were you in 2013? That's when this all came to a head.
In 2013?
Yeah.
I was a sophomore in high school.
So you did not watch the news?
No.
I didn't watch
this. I had already been back
either.
from Afghanistan at that point.
Oh, snap.
So.
Dang.
There you go.
I know.
Oh, I'm Ashley.
Oh.
Introductions.
I'm Alicia, your veteran recruiter.
Yes.
Who came back from Afghanistan in
2012, the end of 2012. Yeah. The very end. I got back just in time for Christmas.
And I'm Dolan. I'm on the knobs.
What's up, Dolan?
Hey.
I like your Harry Potter scarf, Ashley.
Thank you. It's so cold out today.
Gryffindor.
Even though I am a Ravenclaw.
Same.
But my aunt bought me a Gryffindor scarf, and I still love it dearly.
Aw. You gotta wear it for your aunt.
Nerds. Hashtag. All right. So what did we decide? You're starting or I'm starting?
I'm gonna start.
I'm
gonna start.
Yes,
so
kick it
we're
off.
gonna talk about our homie Anthony Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Not really our homie. He was born in 1973. There wasn't a ton of background on him, which is interesting. So I'm just going to go over a brief, I actually don't think it's that brief, a summary of kind of what's going on with Anthony Garcia. And then Ashley's going to jump in and tell us the nitty-gritty, dirty details of all of the things that Mr. Anthony Garcia did. So he was a doctor, and he was charged in 4 killings. He's a former Chicago-based physician responsible for slayings in Omaha in 2008 and 2013. From what I understand, none of this came to a head until his murders in 2013. So Anthony Garcia was working with elderly patients in the Chicago area, and he was always gentle and pleasant. And according to a former boss, he remembered him as a highly professional physician. So there's really nothing wonky going on with him. Everyone thinks he's a great guy, except for the fact that Mr. Garcia, 40 years old at the time, had a troubled past. So over the years, he failed to complete 4 separate medical residencies, including one at the University of Illinois at Chicago. And authorities say grudges that took hold during the years of professional frustration led to Garcia to kill 4 people in Omaha, Nebraska. He was once a resident here at the Creighton University in their medical program, and he was arrested in Southern Illinois. So, one of his alleged victims, well, now victims, it's been proven, was an 11-year-old boy. He was the son of one of the doctors who fired him in 2001 from his residency at Creighton. The boy's name was Thomas Hunter, and his family's housekeeper, Shirley Sherman, was stabbed to death by someone who broke into their home in 2008. And now we know this person is Dr. Anthony Joseph Garcia. So in May of 2013, police say Garcia killed the other doctor he blamed for his undoing at Creighton. His name was Roger Brumbach, and his wife, Mary Brumbach, both 65. Roger Brumbach was fatally shot, and his wife was stabbed to death. One of the doctors from the University of Illinois at Chicago said, "I did not see any indications that Dr. Garcia was capable of this. I never saw anything like that." He described him as being quiet, calm, and withdrawn. Gotta watch out for the quiet types. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, like at first in his residencies, he was a good guy, a good doctor. He got good reviews, but I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that was the review from that doctor, because it seemed like he was great at first, and then he would turn around and he was not this super great person. He had a lot of aggressive tendencies and stuff,
and it turns out that he had issues with alcohol, and he was stopped by Illinois State Police in Union County, and he was taken into custody. He had shown signs of alcohol impairment and had a .45 caliber handgun with him, but was taken without incident. And then Garcia had been living in Terre Haute, Indiana, and he was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and the use of a weapon in the slings. Garcia failed to get a medical license in at least 4 states, and he was given license to practice medicine in Illinois in 2003 while he was still a resident at UIC. Records show the license has been renewed since then, and his current license is set to expire. Well, was set to expire. This article is from 2013. Somebody named Hofer in this article said she could not explain why Illinois granted Garcia a license to practice medicine in the state when so many other states had found his record problematic.
Maybe that's one of like a residency director or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't specify.
Oh.
So
I don't have that person in any of my notes.
I know. It didn't give her an introduction in my article either. It just said Hofer. And I'm like,
Hofer.
oh, who Hofer is.
If anyone knows Hofer, let us know.
Yep.
So, yeah, he went through a whole bunch of different residencies, and it was kind of questioned whether or not he should even become a doctor, because he was into it and not into it. So we'll rewind a little bit. He was born in 1973, and his parents, they had well-respected jobs. His mom was a nurse, and his dad was a postman. They worked really hard. They didn't make the greatest money. So for a little while, he lived with his grandma until they were financially stable again, and he went back to living with his parents. He did have a few siblings, and they wanted Anthony to have a really good, stable career, and they kind of pushed him towards medicine, so he just kind of got that in his head at an early age that this is what my parents want me to do, so this is what I'm doing.
Even if I'm bad at it.
Yeah. In school, he actually had a reading disorder, so school was challenging for him. He was good with numbers, not great with reading, but he still tried his hardest. He moved towards the medicine career.
I'm kind of surprised he was accepted into 4 different medical residency programs.
Yeah.
Because I would think, like, okay, you get kicked out of one or you fail at one, then maybe someone gives you a second chance, but 4 just seems kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Well,
it just seems like a lot of chances.
It does. He gets a lot of chances, and that's just leads to murder. So he shouldn't have had so many chances, maybe. I don't know. So he does finally get accepted to a 4-year program in Utah for medicine in 1994. It doesn't take long for him to get on academic probation after failing a few classes, even when some of the exams are altered because of his reading disability. To put it in perspective, he enters medical school with a 5th grade reading level.
Wow.
So I've never taken any medical classes. I've never gone to medical school. But from what I understand, they have to learn like some Latin terminology. I can imagine the terminology in general is pretty crazy. Not to mention you have to read a lot of quick notes and stuff.
Well, ask Dolan how anatomy class went for him.
It was terrible.
A lot of big words.
A lot of big words. A lot of misplacing other words with other words.
Yeah. So, but he tries his hardest. He ends up passing school. He's not really happy with his life though, but
because he doesn't want to be a doctor.
Yeah, but he keeps doing it for his parents. Didn't want to disappoint them. That was my phone.
Ding dong.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put on vibrate. Okay. So he does get dependent on alcohol. He takes his frustrations out on patients sometimes, as well as students or coworkers. So his first residency program is in New York at Bassett St. Elizabeth Medical Center, and he focuses in pathology. So for us, if we don't know what pathology is, it is the study of disease and development in the body. So that's just a quick summary of what that is. And they help solve how someone might have died. Quickly, the facility realizes that Anthony is kind of unfit for this. One example is he prescribes sedatives to a patient who has it written on their charts that they should not be sedated. He falls asleep on the job while a pregnant patient is in labor.
What?
Yeah. I just want to say, as someone who has been in labor before,
would you be pissed?
We are not like calm. Like, so it's, I would say it would be very hard for a nurse or a doctor to fall asleep if someone was in labor.
Wow.
You'd have to be really trying.
Wonder if he just like walked away from the room and found like a little quiet area.
He was just like, I'm done listening to this mother. She's gonna, she's gonna give birth, but I'm not gonna be there for it. So
I'm too tired for this. I am going to leave.
Honestly, probably for the best, knowing what we know about Anthony Garcia. It's probably for the best that
probably
she probably could have just done it herself.
Yes, I have faith that she could have done it herself. Maybe she did. We don't know. So yes, he's obviously socially withdrawn. Like we said, he has some aggressive tendencies. Hospital directors do advise him to undergo counseling, which he ignores. He eventually resigns from this program after an outburst with a radiologist. So basically he quits before they can fire him. And he's only 8 months into this residency when that happens. So he decides to move back to California with his family. So maybe he was born there. We're not really sure where he was born. He applies for other residencies, not disclosing that he left Bassett.
So this is obviously before the internet was what the internet is now, because had this been happening now in like 2022, like you would know and you would have access to records. Like you'd know if somebody left a residency program.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even that long ago. Like
I know, but that's
20 years ago.
Yeah, but if you think about that, that's like really when the internet was even like coming of age.
Yeah, and just simply not disclosing that he left. But yeah, You'd think places would do more digging, which they do eventually do more digging, which is how we also get to the murder. So it's July 2000 that Anthony Garcia begins his residency at Creighton University here in Omaha, Nebraska. He does get a stellar review that he is well-mannered, detailed-oriented, and it's like he just had a change of heart and he's doing great all of a sudden at this new residency. But he eventually falls back into his old ways, has outbursts with staff and students. Comes time for another review, and Dr. Chandra Butra, who sounds like a no-nonsense kind of woman, gives him a bad review, and he's obviously not happy about that.
Wasn't he originally planning to murder her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So he does try and kill her, but she wasn't home.
Well,
Spoiler
can't
alert.
get killed if you're not home.
Yeah. So she was one of the directors of the residencies. There was also Dr. Bill Hunter that seems like a very nice guy. He gives Anthony a lot of chances. So he tries to mentor Anthony, but Anthony just remains intolerant and aggressive. In February 2001, he gets another bad review, and he's 27 years old by this point. So Dr. Chandra Butra is just not a fan of him. Anthony publicly criticizes her. Butra, by this point, wants him gone. Dr. Hunter wants to keep him around and just wants to help this guy out. But Anthony keeps messing up, and so he is told to do an autopsy, and he misdiagnoses an autopsy. And when the doctors offer him feedback, like, he just gets pissed, he gets irate, and doesn't want to accept any learning, it sounds like.
Not good with constructive criticism.
Yeah, yes. There's another autopsy that he definitely botches. He is left unsupervised, and I don't know why, but he finishes the autopsy and leaves this corpse on their stomach.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
No, because when you're dead, your heart's no longer pumping blood, so gravity takes over, and that blood is just going to pool somewhere, usually on your back. So this horribly disfigures the body, like the face is unrecognizable. So that's kind of tragic for
The family?
the family, yeah. And so the funeral home is irate, and that's an embarrassment for Creighton that this happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, by this point, obviously Dr. Butra, Dr. Hunter, and another director, Dr. Brumbach, they just want Anthony Garcia gone.
Anthony Garcia is like the king of not giving a care in the world.
Yeah. Dr. Hunter, I guess, offers Garcia a 1-year certificate, because I think he's also like almost at his 1 year at this residency.
They're just like, just take this and go.
And it's unclear in my notes, but I think there's a second residency program at Creighton that he tries, but, doesn't work out very well. Oh yeah, he tried sabotaging one of his colleagues' career with like a prank phone call, and this like resurfaces later.
What?
Yeah, so I guess
The peak of maturity.
yeah, I guess one of his colleagues was like taking an exam or giving an exam, and Anthony Garcia like calls and pretends like is a message from this guy's wife and gets this guy to like leave the exam, which can sabotage his career. I don't know what all happened. So yeah, very childish.
And so it begins.
He does eventually, so he's gone from Creighton. He starts a new residency in Illinois in 2001, the Illinois College of Medicine. But by 2003, he's not doing so hot. He has frequent hospital visits because talks of suicide and homicidal ideations aimed at colleagues. Red flags all around.
No, I want to hire him to be my doctor. Don't you?
Oh, yes. He sounds like
great.
a
Green
stand-up
flags.
dude.
Green flags all around.
So after a few years, he leaves this residency. from Illinois, goes back to his parents, and now because of all these hospital visits, he's in debt, $80,000. He files bankruptcy and disability. The hardships just worsen. He does attempt suicide. So it sounds like he should have just taken a different career path, and maybe a lot of this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I would say. Well, no, none of it would have happened because he wouldn't have been in this position.
So his fourth residency is at Shreveport, Louisiana State University. February 2008, he's almost issued his medical license by the Louisiana State Medical Board, but they do some digging and discover that Anthony was fired from his residency at Creighton. They speak with Dr. Hunter, who obviously tells the truth and just explains everything that happened. So he was so close and didn't get his medical license. So Anthony, now age 34, gets fired from this residency for just not fully disclosing and being honest, and eventually they found out anyway. So by this point, he finds out it was Dr. Hunter that spoke with the Louisiana State Medical Board and begins plotting his revenge.
Dunch, dunch, dunch.
Exactly.
Dunch, dunch, dunch. I forgot about dunch, dunch, dunch. So then does he end up, is this how he ends up in Illinois? Or does he go back to Nebraska first?
Well, now he starts planning his return to Omaha. Did I miss something?
No, I was just wondering. Well, because he ends up being a doctor out of Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this happens after.
That happens after the 2008?
After the 2008 murder.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So
by the time he actually becomes a doctor, he's already a murderer.
And he gets like temporary medical licenses. He never gets like a permanent one. But we'll get to that.
Jeez. Okay. No, you didn't miss anything. I was just jumping ahead.
Yes. He's very careful with planning his return to Omaha. He takes out a bunch of cash so he doesn't leave a paper trail. He doesn't even bring a weapon. He just plans on using something at the house. So his target is Dr. Bill Hunter.
The one that was trying to give him chances.
Yeah, the guy that was rooting for him and trying to mentor him and help him.
Nice.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but then he told the truth about him to the Louisiana Medical Board.
Yeah, he even buys a smoky license plate shield, so like it's hard to read his license plate number and stuff.
So far, I'm hearing these are the smartest things he's ever done.
Yeah, he's very thorough with this. So Thursday, March 13th, 2008, Bill Hunter is still at work when Anthony Garcia goes to his home in Dundee, in the Dundee neighborhood, which it's kind of weird hearing a story like this and knowing exactly like where they're talking about, you know?
Yeah. Like where in Dundee? Like
I don't know.
Dundee's
like,
not very
exactly,
big.
but yeah, Dundee's.
Yeah, it's super small. And I'm thinking of it's like Happy Hollow considered Dundee.
Yeah.
So those
so
those
over
houses,
by Memorial Park, those big houses.
Those houses over there are like super
They're beautiful.
nice.
Ones
super
that only
nice.
doctors and lawyers can afford.
pretty much.
Trust fund babies.
Yeah. I mean, they're big, but they're not like, well,
no, they've got a lot of character. They're older.
Yes.
It's an older neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think that was one of like the original, like the bigger, more moneyed area, a long time ago in Omaha, when Omaha was becoming the city that it is today.
Right. So yeah, Bill Hunter is not home. Tom Hunter, his 11-year-old son, does just get home from school.
So sad.
I know. And Shirley Sherman, the housekeeper, is also there. So Anthony pulls up to the home, and like I said, it's just weird because like we can picture Dundee. So Dundee is a primarily white neighborhood, I guess. Anthony does kind of stick out. So he tries to make sure he's not being super obvious, and he kind of circles around his house. He ends up parking a few streets over, walks to Dr. Hunter's house. He knocks on the door, where Tom Hunter answers the door. And he's not, like, he doesn't just force himself in, you know. He's like, is your dad home? He finds out he's not home. And then he, you know, does just go into his house. But he's trying to just lay low in case anyone's watching. So his target is no longer Dr. Hunter. It is now the 11-year-old boy, Tom. He stabs Tom in the neck. Shirley hears all the commotion, and he does also stab Shirley in the neck. I think he kind of makes it look like it's a robbery gone wrong, but he doesn't take anything. Don't quote me on that.
How in your brain do you go from, like, I'm mad at this man, I'm going to get back at this man, and then be like, well, there's an 11-year-old boy, so this'll do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could kill someone you're angry at or kill a loved one.
That is a whole new level of evil.
Yeah. So
I think psychologically it would be harder to kill
a
loved
boy.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
to get
young.
back at somebody, that's like.
So I think I remember this all so well because, I mean, in 2008, I was still in high school and I grew up in Benson, which is right next door to Dundee. So I was very close to home.
Yeah. So revenge is completed, basically. Anthony just walks out of the house, goes back to his car, and starts driving back home. Dr. Hunter comes home and finds the horrible scene, so he calls the police. He has to let his wife know what happened. And Detective Moyse is on the case.
His wife was not home as well? Okay, so they were both gone. Yeah,
they were both gone. It was just Tom and the housekeeper that were home.
Shirley Sherman.
Detective Moyse on the case and discovers nothing is taken. So the perpetrator was there to primarily just kill. Okay, so maybe he didn't make it look like a robbery gone wrong.
If he was smarter, he would have.
Yeah. Also, where Tom and Shirley were stabbed in the neck, it proves that the killer had knowledge of the human body.
So do they immediately start suspecting Anthony Garcia or no?
Not at all.
So Dr. Hunter must not have thought that he disgruntled Anthony Garcia that much, but I think that I would put two and two together. Like if I had just told a medical board and prevented someone that from getting their medical license, like I'd be like,
yeah. I mean, they do ask Hunter if he has any enemies, but it sounds like he was pretty respected doctor. So I think Anthony is like kind of on the list of suspects, but somehow he gets just gets away with it. His name slides under the rug. They don't really pay much attention to him.
So when you say Anthony drove home, did he go home to California or back to Louisiana, or does it say?
I believe he went back to Louisiana. Well, I guess.
This is when he gets on the road to Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know if he goes back to Louisiana or if he goes back to California. He goes back to one of those places. But 2 months... After 2 months, the investigation goes cold. You know, they can't find anyone. Anthony is not a suspect, but Anthony is relentless at pursuing a career in the medical field still. Now we'll move on to Illinois. He receives a temporary medical license and does like medical screenings and stuff. From what I understand, a temporary medical license is kind of like an internship, like it's just a chance. Okay. He even works in a prison for a little while, doing medical
Ironic.
stuff. Yes.
Ironic. A place he would soon call home.
He's finally making a little bit of money and treating his mental health, so he does start taking meds for us, but he doesn't stop drinking, so...
I don't think you're supposed to combine like antipsychotics and alcohol.
Yeah,
I think that's a no-no.
Still pretty careless. Like, I guess he tries to treat his mental health, but yeah, tries.
Well, knowing what we know about what happens next, that's try is a good word.
Yeah. I am going to mention this because it does come up later. He's at a gentleman's club and he is bragging to one of the dancers, Cecilia Hoffman, about his murder, and she just kind of brushes it off like, okay, this guy's weird. She gets away from him, and but doesn't really make anything of it. But again, this resurfaces later. In 2012, he shows up to work intoxicated, aggressive towards colleagues, the same old, same old. He is forced to resign. And
so when he was in Illinois, was he hired on as a full-time doctor, or was this another residency program?
I think he was hired on as a doctor. This wasn't a residency.
Okay, that's what I thought too. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
And that's when he was treating the elderly patients and working.
I don't know much about the elderly patients, so I don't know if that's primarily what he was working with or not, to be honest.
It's hard to get good research.
Lots of different sources.
And lots of different things being said.
Yeah. He tries to apply for a permanent medical license, but let's see.
They were like, no, we tried this, trial and error. We are unimpressed.
So I have Indiana written down.
That he was living in Indiana.
Okay.
At some point.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm not 100% sure where we are at this point. That's so bad.
He was living in Indiana, was arrested in Illinois.
Yeah.
In 2013.
Because I just have written down that he wants a permanent medical license in Indiana. Okay.
So maybe he had moved on.
Yes.
Or was trying to.
Yeah. He jumps around a lot. So September 2012, Creighton is contacted again about Anthony. And this time, Dr. Roger Brumback has to tell the truth about what happened to Anthony. So his application for a permanent license gets denied. Anthony found out that it was Roger Brumback this time that told the truth, and his license was refused.
I'm surprised that both times he's been able to find out like who was the direct point of contact in regard to him getting a medical license.
He had to have like forced it out of somebody, or maybe he had somebody inside Creighton that he had befriended.
Maybe. Because I just feel like that's like those conversations, like a medical board wouldn't be like, oh, well, it was Dr. blah, blah, blah who gave me your information, who told me that you're a crappy doctor.
It's got to be somebody on the inside of Creighton that he's friends with, or...
And then has heard.
Yeah.
Through the grapevine.
Now that you guys just said all that.
Oh, no.
He thinks it was Chandra Butra, not Roger Brumback. Sorry.
So he's just assuming.
So, I mean, yeah, there were these three directors, the main directors, so he just targets
so he's
them.
just guessing. At this point,
sure.
He's just...
yeah, so January 2nd, 2013, he's fired. He starts drinking. He's on his antipsychotics. He's going to the hospital again because he's not doing so hot. January 10th rolls around and he decides it's time to start plotting more revenge on Dr. Chandra Butra. But this time he's not as careful. He Googles her address. He buys a gun and he leaves a paper trail. He doesn't take out money or cover his license plate or anything.
He's just like, catch me.
Yeah.
Catch me.
Yeah.
I don't care at this point.
He's just ready to go. So yeah, May 12th, 2013, he breaks into Chandra Butra's home, but like we already said, she and her husband, they were not home at the time. So
backup plan.
Yeah, she got lucky, and now he's going for Dr. Roger Brumback. So he goes to Dr. Brumback's home. He is home. There's a bit of a quarrel. Dr. Brumback gets shot multiple times, as well as his wife Mary, who's also home. He stabs her in the neck, and I guess this is kind of his signature thing, to stab them in the neck.
You already shot them.
Yeah. Yeah. even though Dr.
Because it's
Brumback
personal,
is dead,
though. That's like a personal thing. That's the personal touch. Like when people are stabbed or strangled, like it's a sign of like it's very personal.
Yes,
instead of
stabbing
just
someone
shooting
versus
somebody and
shooting
leaving.
someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though Dr. Brumback is dead, he still stabs him in the neck. So overkill.
Jeez.
Eventually, the bodies are found. The police notice that the knife wounds are similar to the case from 2008. Dr. Butra does call the police because they can tell someone broke into her house. And Dr. Hunter does get questioned about everything as well. Finally, Anthony does become a suspect after having just a connection with all three doctors. And they realize that the old case from 2008, someone mentions his car being seen in Dundee, even though at this point in time he's driving a different car. Like, they're starting to just put pieces together. So when he went to Dr. Butra's house and she wasn't home, he actually went to Wingstop and paid for a meal with his card and Googled Dr. Brumback's address. So they find that. What do you got?
Nothing.
Oh, we thought
Nothing.
you were looking up something.
No, I'm just laughing at what you said.
Dolan's over here on his phone, so we thought he was doing some resident research for us. He's not.
I'm just not finding what I want to find.
Okay, so imagine this. You're mad at somebody, and then you're like, I need a backup plan. Okay, I can't kill her. You know what? I am hungry, though, so let me get some wings. And then also, I need to Google someone else's address. Like, no one will ever find me now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, he's so nonchalant about it. It's very scary. Like I get anxiety like having to knock on someone's door. Like, this is not the day and age where you just like knock on someone's door, show up unannounced. Like, I don't even have the balls to do that. Let alone like walk into someone's home with the intention to like hurt them.
That's good to know. I'm glad you
No, I just like I'm just trying to put myself in like the mindset of like how you could even get to that point where you're just like, yeah, this is fine.
This is what's gonna happen. Maybe he was just confident from what happened before.
Maybe
that's true.
Like, but he's being so sloppy now.
Yes.
Yeah. He's comfortable.
Yeah.
Comfortable with the killing.
I mean, if you're gonna commit a crime, you're not supposed to Google things from your own computer. You're supposed to like go to like. Don't you ever watch movies? You're supposed to go to like an internet cafe or the library.
Right.
Except for at the library, I think they make you use your name when you log in to a computer, so they could know it was you too that way. So you got to go somewhere super anonymous.
Yeah.
Anyway, he didn't do that because he was like, I gotta cut corners. This revenge has to happen right now.
Yes.
I can't wait.
All right. So Detective Moist back on the scene. They start putting pieces together. They're finding evidence against Anthony. They decided to put a GPS on him, so they're tracking him somehow. Probably phone. So here's where they go on a wild goose chase to find him. We're going to Illinois. So Detective Moist, like from Omaha, he has to work with the Illinois police and detectives there. They do eventually get him into custody. I think I left out like a whole bunch of details on the wild goose chase, but long story short,
that's okay because this is already going to be our longest episode by far.
Sorry,
no, it's okay.
Cut a bunch out.
No, it's good. Cut my part out.
No.
Yeah, cut me out. Ashley's great.
No. They get him into custody. The Illinois police search his home. They find a whole bunch of documents and stuff about identity theft and his revenge plots and just everything that they can use against him, basically.
All right. I just want to say, again, if you're going to go commit a crime, like, get rid of the evidence of the part where you planned it, because when they arrest you, where are they going to go? To your house.
Right. Yeah.
Through your car. To your place of work. They're going to go through all your stuff. Throw it away.
In the podcast, the other podcast I was listening to, I think they find like a bag of documents in his sink, like soaking in some sort of chemical that's supposed to get rid of
I just want to
paper.
say, like, water,
Why don't you just burn it?
fire.
Fine.
I mean, there's a lot of solutions that for getting rid of documents. A paper shredder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez, sorry. It's just frustrating sometimes. Like, they think they're so smart, and then they have these moments of genius while they're committing these crimes, and then they're just, like, dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
And then this is exactly
So
how I will
sloppy.
also get caught.
So for this revenge plot, he does have that gun,
Right.
which he does abandon on the side of the road in Illinois. A police officer does find the gun and just like puts it into the system that a gun hasn't been reported lost or stolen or anything, but you find a gun, you put it in the system. So
Oh, see, what I read is I thought it was on him when he was arrested. See,
Shoot.
conflicting. Shoot, that's what he did. So
I don't know.
when they arrested him, it sounded like he was under the influence of alcohol.
Yes.
And then
yeah.
they said they had found
Lots of drinking.
the .45 caliber gun.
Oh. Well, yeah, he was either
Maybe he
found
tried to
the
discard
gun.
it, or like they found it along.
Yeah. Either way, this gun is used against him because whether they found the gun on him or whether they found it on the side of the road, they still put two and two together and like linked the gun back to him.
Right.
So, yes.
Also probably linked it to the people that he shot with it.
Yes. So, October 3rd, 2016, the trial begins finally. So Cecilia, the dancer at the Gentlemen's Club, does come forward and testifies because he told her that he killed someone. God. Yeah. So stuff like that.
I'm so cool. I killed somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Want to dance with me?
So finally,
hate that.
October 26th,
So annoying.
2014, 43-year-old Anthony is found guilty of 4 counts of murder. September 14th, which is my birthday,
Oh,
2018, he's sentenced to execution.
what a birthday gift.
Yeah. In Nebraska. So to this day, he's still on death row, just rotting away in prison.
Is death row still like backed up? Like, isn't that a thing with COVID? And
I also think that there was like a shortage in the lethal injection, the
Yes.
stuff that they were using, and I think that was even prior to COVID.
that was
Yeah.
prior to COVID.
And yeah, and so I'm sure now it's just
You know, only one company in the world makes that
Oh, no.
injection. Yeah, and it's in the UK. And
but they make a lot of money.
I should say, yeah, they can charge whatever they want.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that makes a lot of sense because I think like that also played a factor into being able to get access to the
Yeah.
correct drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm sure like COVID also didn't help trying to get a drug from another country.
Can't
Right.
even get raspberry flavoring from Starbucks because of COVID. So
Oh,
I'm sure it's
no.
really hard to get
Yeah.
the concoction for a lethal injection.
Yeah.
I'm sure shipment's slow.
Same thing, only different. Oh man. So yeah, that's the
Brain
crazy
around.
story of Anthony Garcia. I guess when he was in his trial too, they even tried using the whole fact that he was not mentally ill and he was under a lot of pressure from his parents to become a doctor, and they tried using all this stuff to get him off or get him a lighter sentence, but
I'm kind of surprised that someone with a 5th grade
yeah.
level of reading got into, first of all, college, let alone a medical
school.
residency, like
Yeah.
a medical school, period.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could get into medical school, and I have a bachelor's degree.
Yeah. There were obviously a lot of people rooting for him, not saying, yeah, like agreeing with you, like, yeah.
No, I
There.
know.
But yes, the 5th grade reading level, it's kind of bonkers.
The whole story is bonkers.
Especially with
is.
how big those anatomy words are.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Pick one, Dolan.
Osteo something.
Osteoporosis. It's not a bone. That's a bone disease, I think.
Yeah.
Or when
I
Ashley
don't know.
couldn't say
I'm just agreeing.
coronary.
Yeah, coronary.
Coronary.
Can't read my own handwriting.
That's okay.
All right. So, did I miss anything? We covered a lot.
I don't think
There's a
so.
lot. But it's just crazy. Again, this is our hometown. This happened here in Omaha, Nebraska. Our office is in Omaha, Nebraska. So, this was a interesting one.
Yeah,
Sure.
not a lot of like straight up murder for revenge or anything going on around here. So it's kind of like a shocking story, a shocking thing to have happen in your hometown.
I mean, especially like this, right? In a really like rich neighborhood. You're not seeing a lot of crime in that area anyway. I mean, if you just go down Dundee, like you can see it. Like people
Warren
are
Buffett
out,
hangs out down there.
Right?
Yeah.
Get some ice cream from E Creamery.
Walking dogs everywhere. Yeah. Really nice parks.
Yeah. So, well, don't do anything that Anthony Garcia did. Anthony
Correct.
Joseph Garcia. Don't do any of that.
Yeah.
And if you're mad at somebody, just maybe talk it out or just let it go.
Yeah, I agree. Who are we talking about next?
Glennon Engelmann. Yeah. A dentist.
A dentist for
Oh.
changing it up. Oh, we didn't even tell you?
You
You didn't read
Dolan
any
didn't
of
read
our
the
notes.
group chat.
Come on.
I skimmed.
We're talking about a dentist next week.
Nice. I hate dentists.
They hate you. I'm just kidding. No, but the dentist, I get it. It sucks.
Cool.
So, we'll see.
Murder.
Murder.
Thank you for listening to Healthcare Horrors, brought to you by Atlas MedStaff. Just a reminder, we are not healthcare professionals. We are just fans of true crime, talking about some of history's darkest moments in healthcare. Stay tuned, stay healthy, and stay safe.
Healthcare horrors. Murder.